Imagine boarding a train in Russia and instead of flying thousands of kilometers south, watch the landscape change outside your window. Russia's vast plains giving way to the steppes of Central Asia, then the deserts and mountains of Iran, before finally reaching India. Sounds like a travel fantasy, right? But this journey could one day become possible. Russia has floated an ambitious idea, exploring a railway connection towards the Indian Ocean and India. And if this plan eventually takes shape, it could create one of the most extraordinary overland journeys in the world, spanning several countries. After all, New Delhi is almost 4,000 kilometers away from Moscow as the crow flies. And Russia does have expertise of long train routes. The 9,000 kilometers long Trans-Siberian has been in use for almost a century now. But there is a much bigger story behind this proposed train route. Because this is not just about tourists, breathtaking landscapes, or taking another epic journey off the bucket list. It is about trade, strategic connectivity, and Russia trying to find new routes to India without depending entirely on vulnerable maritime choke points. Well, the proposal was put forward by Russian Deputy Minister Marat Khushnulin, who suggested examining railway connectivity towards the Indian Ocean and India. But before you start searching for tickets from Moscow to Delhi, there is an important catch. There is no direct passenger train yet. The proposal is still at an exploratory stage. For now, the focus is primarily on creating stronger transport and trade links between Russia, Central Asia, Iran, and Indian subcontinent. A future passenger service could emerge from that infrastructure. But that is still a possibility, not a confirmed travel plan. So, what could this route actually look like? There is no officially finalized passenger route, but existing transport corridors provide a clue. A possible alignment could take the railway south from Russia through countries such as Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, then into Iran, and eventually towards India. And this is where an existing project becomes extremely important. The International North-South Transport Corridor, or INSTC, was designed as a multi-modal network connecting India, Iran, and Russia through a combination of rail, road, and maritime links. The corridor stretches for roughly 7,200 kilometers and is designed to create a shorter trade connection between India and Russia than traditional sea routes through Europe. Parts of the Eastern Corridor already connect Russia with Iran through Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan. So, the proposed railway line does not necessarily mean starting from scratch. It could build on infrastructure and transport corridors that already exist. The question is, why now? Why is Russia looking towards India through rail? The answer is partly geopolitics. For decades, international trade has depended heavily on maritime routes, but those routes also depend on strategically sensitive choke points. The Strait of Hormuz is one example. The Bosphorus is another. Not to forget Russia's long-running problems of warm water ports. Any major disruption in these areas can affect shipping, energy supplies, and global trade. Russia's proposal is therefore about creating another option, a land-based route that could move goods across Eurasia without relying entirely on vulnerable maritime passages. And for Moscow, stronger overland connectivity with India could mean greater resilience in trade. For New Delhi, it could mean another route to the Russian and Central Asian markets. This is why the most important part of the story may actually have very little to do with passengers. It is freight, trade, supply chain, and strategic access. A functionally trade corridor would allow goods to move between India and Russia through a combination of rail, road, and sea links. that could potentially reduce transit times and strengthen commercial ties. And it could give businesses another option when maritime routes become expensive, slow, or vulnerable. Think of it this way. Instead of having just one major highway for trade, countries are trying to build several. Because in today's world, connectivity is power. The more routes you control or have access to, the less vulnerable you are when one route gets disrupted. Now comes the reality check. This sounds exciting, but turning the idea into an actual passenger train would be a massive challenge. A passenger traveling across Russia, Central Asia, Iran, and India would potentially have to negotiate several international borders. Then there are different railway systems and operating standards. There are also security concerns and, of course, geopolitics. For instance, India's land neighbors to the north include Pakistan and China. A railway crossing several countries is only as reliable as the political and security environment along the route. And there's another important reality. Freight comes first. The infrastructure being discussed is primarily about moving goods. A regular passenger service would require a completely different level of coordination, schedules, immigration facilities, passengers' terminals, customs, security, and cross-border agreements. So yes, Russia to India by train is an exciting possibility. But no, this is not a train you can book today or possibly anytime in the near future. Still, imagine what such a journey could have looked like. You leave Russia, the enormous Russian landscape slowly gives you Central Asia. The scenery changes, the climate changes, the architecture changes. You move through the vast steppes and deserts of the region. Then eventually comes Iran, a country with thousands of years of history, dramatic landscape, and some of the world's most recognizable Persian cultural heritage. And eventually, the landscape transforms again as the journey reaches South Asia. You would literally watch Eurasia change outside your window. From Russia's plain to Central Asian steppes, to desert, to Iranian mountains and historic cities, and finally, the Indian subcontinent. If it ever becomes a reality, this could potentially become one of the world's great long-distance rail adventures. For India, however, there is an even bigger opportunity here. A stronger rail connection with Russia could mean more than tourism. It could deepen trade, improve access to Central Asia, strengthen India's role in Eurasian logistics, and give New Delhi another way to connect with markets beyond traditional maritime routes. The existing INSTC already provides the foundation for this broader connectivity, and a stronger rail component could potentially make that network even more useful. In other words, the train is the eye-catching part of the story. The real prize is the corridor. And this is where the story gets even bigger. Russia wants alternatives to vulnerable maritime routes. India wants stronger connectivity with Russia and Central Asia. Iran wants to strengthen its position as a transit hub. And the Central Asian countries want better access to global markets. Their interests rarely, if ever, actually align. But on connectivity, there is clearly an overlap. A functioning north-south land corridor could bring these countries closer economically. And in a world where trade routes are increasingly shaped by the geopolitics, that matters. Because railway tracks are not just pieces of infrastructure. They can reshape where good moves, which port becomes important, which countries become transit hubs, and how quickly economies can connect with one another. So, Will we actually see a train travel directly from Russia to India? That answer, for now, is still uncertain. The proposal is at an exploratory stage. There's no confirmed direct passenger service. There are infrastructure gaps. There are border and visa complications. There are different railway systems. And there are major geopolitical and security questions to work out. But the idea itself tells us something very important. Russia and India are looking at connectivity in a very different way. Not simply as a question of how quickly people can travel, but as a question of how securely countries can trade, how they can reduce dependence on vulnerable routes, and how they can build alternatives in an increasingly uncertain world. So perhaps the real headline isn't simply Russia to India by train. It is Russia and India looking to build a new road, or rather a new railway across Eurasia. And if that railway dream eventually becomes reality, passengers may get one of the world's most spectacular train journeys. But governments and businesses could get something far more valuable: a new strategic lifeline connecting Russia, Central Asia, Iran, and India. For now, it remains a proposal, but the tracks for the future may already be taking shape. Well, that's a wrap from my side. Thank you so much for watching. I am Muskan, signing off for Times Now Digital. Until next time, take care and keep watching this space for more such videos.